Hello and welcome to the Renaissance English History Podcast, Tudor Minute, your mostly daily dose of all things related to medieval and Renaissance England. So, what I want to talk about today is one of the ways in which the Reformation affected normal people. Because we think, okay, well, it was clerics and it was, the king wanting a divorce and it was all these different people high up. How did it affect Joe Schmo and his wife and his family? And one of the ways that it affected them was in childbirth. So one thing, it's kind of hard to tell how much of this was actually enforced, what I'm going to talk about, because men were forbidden from going into the childbirth room, the labor area, when women were giving birth. But before the Reformation, it was really popular in childbirth for women to have prayer rolls and to have relics near them if they could afford it. And there were certain saints that could be invoked during labor to try to ease labor pains and to try to make it safer for women. So that was one of the things. The midwives would have relics and would have things like that. And prayer rolls especially, that you could put on a girdle and you could have it read out to you when you were in the midst of labor. And that was a really popular thing for women to do. Now, as the Reformation happened, it was seen as very Catholic and very popish, and it suddenly became actually illegal for women in childbirth to pray to any saint other than Jesus directly. So if you invoked the name of Mary, or if you invoked any Saint Margaret or any of the saints that maybe were supposed to watch over women giving birth, that was actually illegal. So like I say, I don't know how they could have enforced that because I'm not really sure. I can't really see midwives reporting that. So who knows? But in terms of how it was, in the law, it actually was illegal to do that. And also the prayer rolls became illegal. So all of these relics and all of these things that would have been handed down to mothers, to their daughters, daughter-in-laws over the years suddenly became illegal for women to have. And you can imagine that would be really frustrating if your mother gave birth using this prayer roll and her mother, and it was supposed to come down through the family, and suddenly it's illegal to have it. That would be really, really frustrating. So that was all as the Reformation was getting started. And then after Mary Tudor came, after the reign of Edward, which was really Protestant, then Henry VIII's first daughter, Mary Tudor, comes to the throne. And she, of course, wants to reconcile with Rome. So it all swings back the other way. And suddenly, if you were a woman and you were getting ready to go into labor and you refused the Catholic rites, you were seen as really suspicious and, perhaps someone who was a heretic. And, so suddenly it all goes back to where it had been with a renewed kind of energy. And then under Elizabeth, it starts to swing back the other way. So you can imagine that if you were a woman of childbearing age in the 1550s and into the 1560s, it could have been really frustrating. Here you used your prayer roll, here you didn't, here you used it, here you didn't. Suddenly it's illegal. First you have to get the Catholic rites, now you don't. It really would have been really confusing. Now, again, I don't know how much of this would have been enforced. I don't know down to a village level if it would have really been enforced, but it is what the official law was. And certainly each parish had people who were responsible for enforcing the law in their parish. And if you were too noisy about breaking the law, you could be tried for that. So it's just one way in which the Reformation affected ordinary people, not just clerics and monks and people who had taken holy orders. So there you go. That's your Tudor Minute for the day. To learn more about the Renaissance English History Podcast, you can go to http://englandcast, www.englandcast.com, or facebook.com/englandcast, englandcast, englandcast.com. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye. Thanks for watching.